Ever feel like your brain is just working overtime? Well, today we're going to explore a whole new way of looking at that, reframing it not as some kind of flaw, but as a real strategic advantage. Welcome to our explainer on the deep processor's mind.
So let me ask you this. Do you find yourself meticulously analyzing every single angle of a situation? Have people ever told you, hey, you think too much? If you're sitting there nodding your head, then you are definitely in the right place. And here's the big idea we're diving into today. What if you're not an overthinker at all? What if that tendency is actually a sign that you're what's known as a deep processor? It's a really simple but honestly a powerful shift in how you see yourself. Now, to really get this shift, first we've got to tackle the whole misconception around overthinking, right? That word itself is just loaded with negativity. We think of anxiety, we think of unproductive worry, but that's not the whole story, not even close.
Okay, it is absolutely crucial to see the difference here. On one side, you have that anxiety-driven overthinking. You know the feeling. It's like a hamster wheel of worry that goes nowhere. But on the other side, you've got strategic, deep processing. See, this isn't about being stuck. This is about methodically, carefully exploring different angles to actually find a solution. One is pure chaos, the other is constructive.
So, with that difference clear in our minds, let's officially meet the deep processor. What does this term actually mean? What are we talking about here?
A deep processor is someone with what's called high cognitive complexity. Now, in plain English, that just means their brain is literally wired to look at all sides of a situation with incredible detail before they act. It's not a bad habit, it's just their default setting.
So what's actually going on inside this unique mental wiring? It's not just random scattered thinking. No, there are very specific cognitive tools at play. So let's open up the toolkit and break down the 3 core components that really make a deep processor tick.
So, the foundation of the whole toolkit is something called cognitive complexity. This is that built-in drive to look at a problem from every angle you can possibly think of. It's not just about seeing plan A and plan B. It's about seeing all the tiny variables that could lead to plan C, D, all the way to Z. It's like your mind just naturally sees the world in shades of gray instead of simple black and white. And the next tool that really powers this exploration is counterfactual thinking. Basically, this is the mental habit of running simulations in your head. You're constantly asking, okay, what might happen if I do this? Or what could have happened if I had chosen that? It's a really systematic way of exploring all the possibilities.
And this just goes to show how structured this whole process really is. It isn't some chaotic storm of what-ifs. It's a very clear sequence. You start by analyzing the situation as it is. Then you imagine outcome A if you go down one path. Then you imagine outcome B if you go down another. And then, and only then, based on all that deep work, you strategically choose the best path forward. It's a real decision-making system.
And the final tool here is what's called System 2 dominance. So think of your brain as having 2 operating systems. System 1 is your fast, automatic gut reaction, like when you swerve to avoid something in the road. System 2 is your slow, deliberate, analytical mind, the one you use to solve a tough puzzle. Well, deep processors naturally prefer to hit the brakes on that fast, reactive System 1 so they can fully engage the methodical power of System 2. Okay, so we've seen how it all works. But why does any of this matter? Well, because when you put all these tools together, this way of thinking stops looking like a burden, and honestly, it starts looking like a strategic superpower. So what's the big payoff for all this work? Well, the research is pretty clear. This exact mental wiring, the one that so many of us have been told is a flaw, is actually what makes a person calmer and more strategic in the long run. Just think about that for a second. All of that intense thinking actually leads to a state of calm. And this is why it works, because you've thought through so many different possibilities, you're just more prepared for whatever happens. You're far less likely to be blindsided by some unexpected event. This allows you to make stronger, more robust decisions for the long haul. And the end result of all of that? You ultimately feel calmer and much more in control of your life. So let's bring all this home. It really is time to embrace your cognitive complexity. Maybe it's time to stop fighting this part of your mind and start seeing it for what it truly is. A pretty rare and incredibly valuable way of thinking.
Look, if there's just one thing you take away from this, please let it be this. Being a deep processor is not a flaw that you need to fix. It is a specialized mental wiring. It's an operating system that's literally built for deep strategic thinking. It's an asset, plain and simple.
So, we'll leave you with this question. Now that you can actually put a name to this way of thinking, and hopefully see it as a strength, the question is no longer, how do I stop thinking so much? The real question is, how are you going to leverage your power of deep processing